This clock is an hour slow. It's now 10 o'clock. And the indoor humidity is down to 56%. I was looking at this wrong a little bit ago. This is outdoor. 76 outside, 75% humidity, 74 inside, 56% relative humidity at 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, my reservoir is now up to here, full. And being I'm looking at the right scale over there, it's 55%. This thing's actually about spot on. And it's feeling a lot better down here. It's feeling a lot drier. You don't just come down here and you feel like you're sweating now. The other night it was real humid and your body just felt clammy down here. Awful feeling. So I'll go in the other room and I'll get out my shop vac and we'll sweep these carpets. They ought to be, yeah, they're dry by now. We'll sweep the resolve off of them, and looks like for the most part the spots come out. There's a few of them that were grease stains when I used these out in the garage. And then we're going to have to come up with something to put down over here to put my stands back on and keep them gapped out from the wall. The way air can get back in behind there. And the same thing over here, yet again, because there was no air moving underneath of there. I just spent a half hour cleaning up my toolbox, and it was amazing where all the mildew and stuff had gotten in this, various drawers and stuff. And what it attacked, like the grip on this Craftsman hammer, had turned it completely white. All these black poplar mechanic screwdrivers I had, the grips were white. I've got some old, these belong to my wife's grandpa, snap-on screwdrivers that I used down here quite a bit, and you can see how rusty the shanks have gotten on them. All this stuff had to be wiped down with the Lysol wipes. Big old screwdriver back here. My wire cutters and my slip joint pliers covered in mildew. The grip on this putty knife was speckled white, even the tips of the markers. I'm absolutely amazed at how quick this stuff crept in. And like these, I use these quite a bit down here. And they probably sat idle for about a week and a half, and the grips were turning white on them. And these I had just used about a week ago, and sure enough they had white on them. Incredible. But I've used about, I don't know, maybe a third of them wipes already. And these do say that they will kill mold and mildew. You just wipe it on and allow it to dry, and allow the surface to remain wet for at least 10 minutes, which this stuff dries slow anyway down here, and let it air dry. And I had to wipe the entire case, the tops of the drawers, the inside of the cabinet. Oh wow. And like I said, it's amazing how quick this stuff creeps up on you. I'll have to break out the navel jelly for a few of my little wrenches I brought down here. Some of these, it's just turned them to crap. I had to get a couple boxes of baking soda, set in my toolbox. My dad used to have to do that out in the garage here because of moisture and dampness in the garage. It's like it's my turn to do it here in the basement. That tape measure cleaned up pretty good. Remember before it was white and speckly. What else have we been working on? The carpets have been swept, cleaned. They look a lot better. The musty smell is a lot less. Still got some funk somewhere. I don't know where it's at. You can really smell it in certain spots down here. The cabinets have been put back. I put them on risers, so one, they're up off of the floor with air underneath of them, and two, there's an air space of at least an inch behind them. Looks a little less down there. That's due to the shadow, but there's actually about that much room all the way down across here. Everything's away from the wall. Put back. There's very little left to clean back up over here. I'm going to turn the fan on here a little bit and let some of this blow over that away. Even this Black & Decker drill, or Craftsman drill I mean, the entire case had turned white. It's plastic, and it's got an old rubber cord on it, and even that crept to where it was in between the prongs on this cord had turned white. Incredible. I'm flabbergasted about this. I cannot believe how quickly this stuff come on. I mean, it's just like it was almost overnight, but it's been coming on for probably a week or two, maybe a little longer, without me even knowing it. That's about all I can do for them poor bastards. Put them in there and let them soak. Literally dipped it in the container of maple jelly and spread it around the Q-tip. I'm going to have to be vigilant about keeping that wet because the dehumidifier is going to suck the moisture right off of that. Damned if you do and damned if you don't, eh? We seem to have reached our 4 point. And once this shut off, I noticed it jumped right back up to 75% humidity in here. So there's a good bit of dampness yet that needs to be taken out of this room. So this has run almost about 10 minutes short of 5 hours to get a full container. So let's set this down and see just how nasty this actually is. The nice part is they give you a handle to pick this up by. Wow. That's a lot of water. And we'll dry it off here a little bit. It doesn't smell real musky, the water that it's collecting, so now that it's empty again, see the reservoir's empty, we'll go ahead and put the bucket back in and it should start up on its own again. And away we go. Wow, that is incredible how much water that took out of this room. As you can see, we're empty again. Mercy. Bye-bye, water. We've been back running again about 14 minutes and there's already a 1/4 inch of water in that thing again. Humidity did come back down to 55%. But this is like a spring cleaning for the shop, more or less. Here's another grouping of items I had to go through and clean. Some of this stuff had gotten mildewed just sitting up here on the bench in the corner. A little rubber piece off the tip of my mag light, it was white. The back of this Raleigh 6 transistor radio had turned white. This thing was mildewed on the dial, and I'd found a battery that had leaked. I don't know if that's probably got nothing to do with what's down here. I use this all the time. It had mildewed. The grip on my nice knife here, the black part had turned white. The eraser for my dry erase board over there had gotten that. Grip on this knife, I had to clean it up. I need to wipe the cord down on this RCA WR50B. Case is still clean, but the cord had turned white. My Samlex 20, I forget what this even is. I probably even said the name wrong. It's a Samlex RPS 1204. It's a 12 volt regulated DC power supply. It had gotten fuzzy. But the nice part is none of my books got ruined. You know, everything is, everything's pretty well clean up in here, which is good because a lot of this stuff, it took me a while to accumulate and to print off and to find exactly what I needed. Some of this stuff I don't use very often, but it is nice to have. Let's see, what's this? Tube cross-reference manual. Handy to have. A lot of this stuff, matter of fact, all this stuff I found online just by doing a general search. This is my basic schematic book and charts and capacitor conversions, all in that book. Everything I own I got a schematic for is either in that book We're down in that second from the bottom, right here, drawer. I think I even got a few up here. So we get this all put back together. I'm glad my tube manual, receiving tube manual, didn't get dicked up. Okay. Ironically though, even though it attacked the cords on some of the other stuff, it never bothered the cord on my soldering gun, the rubber grip on my soldering gun. And that's crazy. I use this all the time. I know it's dirty. Matter of fact, you can see how the tips rust and it was so damp down here. I had to clean that a little while back because it quit working on me. Well, there you go. Moisture in the air. But none of these cords over here didn't even bother them. My little clocks, I got to clean them. This cord got fuzzy. But the wood case, I don't know if it's because it's sealed. Didn't mess with it. This little clock got pretty nasty too. This is a Seth Thomas. I wish I could get this running. It needs a motor. It's a Woodbury model E524-000, made in the USA. And what happened to that, somebody had tore the AC leads out of the motor. I took it apart because the cord had been cut off of it. Did some examination and cleaning, and I got down to the motor where the leads were at, and went to go put a new cord on it. And when I cut the cord off, I noticed one of the leads inside the motor moved. That's not right. I didn't even tug on it. It was just in there. And I clipped it. I kind of was stripping it back, and the whole thing pulled out. So very upset with that. I need a motor for that. There's a clock shop close by, but the guy always wants an arm and a leg for everything. So I haven't pursued it any farther. This one here doesn't have a motor. It's got a magnet, like an electromagnet in it, and as soon as you plug it in, it buzzes. It doesn't do nothing. Be another one to figure out. Both of these, I think this one's like 1957, and I believe this one is late 50s too. But it's supposed to chime on the hour, quarter hour, and half hour. Enough rambling, time to get back to cleaning. Starting to slow down just a little bit. We got about an inch of water in there again, and we've been back in operation for about an hour and 15 minutes. The humidity's down to 50%. According to this, we still show 56%. Starting to get stuff cleaned up and put back where it belongs, though. Things are looking just a little bit better than what they were. My two open projects over here where they belong on the bench instead on the other side of the room where I can finish these up and get them done, get them taken care of. Something still smells really musty over in here, and I have not found it yet. I went through everything. I've looked at the floor joists, all up in here, pulled all the stuff away from the wall and checked. The only place I could think that there might be something at would be behind this against the wall. And there really ain't much I can do about that. I have to tear this whole bench apart to get to that. So I'm hoping as things dry out that stink goes away. But it's not real bad, but to give you an idea how bad the moisture was down here, these little air fresheners I had even had spots of mold on them. Absolutely crazy. We got that taken care of now. Everything's put back over there where it belongs. I still have left to clean this little guy up. As you can see how bad that cord looks. It's fuzzy. I clean this table off, clean my computer setup off, and then sweep this hole in with the shop vac. And then I got to figure out a way to build a platform to put back here, because I robbed the one that was there for over here to keep it up off the floor. So air circulation can get up underneath of there and whatnot. So I'm going to have to build me something here. Now I'm thinking about using, because what I have here is pretty heavy, maybe a couple 2x4s treated, doubled up, with one in the middle and some flat plank across there. Something big enough to hold that guy right there on the bottom, that clear tote. Then that blue one back here went on top of that, and then the tube caddy went on top of that. So there's still some work left to do. This is a general update, like I said, just about after 12:30. Things are looking better, things are smelling better, thank goodness. What a day. Work has begun in the reassembly of my computer station over here and cleaning up and whatnot. This bit of grunge here, I come just off of the monitor, the table, and the cables. There's 2 cables on that monitor and that table. My God, yuck. I cleaned up my computer. I would not believe how filthy that was, even with the lid shut. Unbelievable. That'll come off the outside of the case. Awful. So I'm going to break for lunch just about 1 o'clock. Let this dry at least. I can reassemble the main body of it and stuff. I've also got to wipe down the power adapter to my radio over there. It's probably a good thing that that thing's sealed. It's a sports outdoor radio. It's got seals and stuff in the switches, even though most of them are shot. But it seemed to have fared pretty good.